Hello, beautiful soul. I'm Vicki Howie of ChakraBoosters.com, the creator of Chakra Boosters Healing Tattoos. And we're going to go on a fun journey today. There are many ways that the chakras are symbolic in our life because they're such a big part of us. For instance, in my new book, Roadmap to Life Mastery, Discover the 7 Cycles That Shape Your Life, I have a whole chapter dedicated to the number 7 because the number 7 is sacred across cultures. It's both lucky and sacred across the world, the whole world. And I don't believe it's a coincidence. It's because our life is based on this energy of 7. And our life even has a 7-year itch. It has these 7-year cycles. And today I'm going to look at an interesting, something that always fascinated me, an interesting analogy to the chakras that's in real life. And that is the Hawaiian Islands in the United States. Our Hawaiian Islands are a chain of islands. There's actually 8 islands, but 2 of them are very small and private and not used by the public. I'm going to incorporate one of those. So I'm going to talk of 7 of the islands, the chain of the islands, and actually in the order of the chakras, they perfectly represent the chakras. I kid you not. But you can judge that for yourself by listening to what I have to say, and then also perhaps going to Google and looking up the islands and looking at what they're about. It's very, very interesting. So we're going to start with the root chakra and work up to the crown. And starting at the root is the Hawaiian Big Island. Now, everybody calls it the Big Island, and nobody really knows what its name is anymore. Even the tourist industry, or I should say the tourist office there, is called the Big Island Tourism Office or something like that. But the name is actually Hawaii or Hawaii. That is the name of the Big Island. And when you think about root chakra is the big chakra. It's the one of mass, because the most amount of physical existence of mass, of density, is in the root chakra. And then from there we move up and we get lighter and lighter and lighter, and that's what happens with the islands. But with the Big Island, you've got a whole lot of industry. You've also got 5 volcanoes, which is interesting because there's really 5 chakras from the root to the 5th. The 5th is the masculine, highest masculine. The root is the lowest masculine. And 3 of the chakras are active. And it's interesting because of the 5 chakras, 3 of them are active. The masculine chakras, the root, the solar plexus, and the throat chakra. So 3 of them are active, just like the active volcanoes. So it's like the Big Island is also representing our bodily up to our throat. Like, because once you get up to the 3rd eye and the crown, we're not really talking so much about physicality. It's more about the spiritual energies. But obviously there's it's a very industry-oriented island, and it's got these active volcanoes, and it's very large. And so that's why it fits the root. And you kind of have this red energy of lava, and you have life force, and life force is what root chakra energy is all about. Our second island, moving up the chain, our second island is Maui, and this represents the sacral. And I visited Maui a little while ago, right before Wayne Dyer died. I saw him at a Hay House event there, literally 1 month before he passed. And it was such a beautiful place. I could not believe how beautiful Maui was and how stormy it was, how much the moods changed. The sacral is the primary first feminine chakra. It's the water, the moody, emotional one, the one that changes all the time. And when I was on Maui, literally, I would watch the weather. Maybe it was the season I was there, but I would watch the weather change every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes. It just kept changing. And it would literally go from sun to very cloudy to raining and storming a little, and then sun again, all within a few hours span, which is so representative of the sacral. And Maui's known for its sumptuousness, and it's where lovers go for a honeymoon, because the sacral is the intimacy, the sensuality, the partnership chakra. So Maui fits that so well, especially the emotional, moody, changing elements. Maui feels to me like the most changing place I've ever been in the world. Maybe you've been somewhere that's more mutable, but to me, Maui Maui was the single most mutable vacation spot I had ever been, where weather was changing the most. Okay, so number 3 in the island chain, we're up to the solar plexus, which is the yellow chakra, and it's the courage chakra, the confidence chakra, the can-do warrior energy. And this is Lanai. And Lanai is known for a solar plexus fruit. The whole island at one point grew pineapple for dole. It's a pineapple island, at least it was a huge pineapple island. And pineapple, with its digestive enzymes and its sweetish and sour, kind of sweet yet a little tart flavor, and its yellow color, is one of the most quintessential solar plexus fruits. It's a beautiful solar plexus fruit. So Lanai is actually, it had pineapple everywhere. And then on top of that, Lanai is also the home of cliff diving. What better place to have the home of cliff diving than in the place that represents the chakra that's all about courage and taking risks and diving in and going for it. So that's number 3. You have the solar plexus. Now, island number 4, as we move up the chain, is Molokai. And Molokai is the one island that's known for having never been conquered. All the islands, they're so beautiful. They've been taken by so many different cultures and countries. But Molokai has been known to be unconquered. And it's interesting because its name the name of the heart chakra is unstruck. It means unstruck, like never injured, or just the place of peace, the place in the middle. And if you look at pictures of Molokai, you can Google it. It's so green, just green everywhere. And I understand there's a lot of green in Hawaii, but this particular one has a very rich, Molokai has very rich green and lots of green. And of course, green is the color of the heart chakra. So moving on up the Hawaiian chains, we come to the throat chakra island, Oahu. Now this makes total sense again, because the capital, the voice of the islands, the honorable masculine energy, which is here in the throat, is, in the justice system and all that, the capital is in Honolulu, which is in Oahu. And so this island also has the most of the population. So it really is the voice of the island for so many reasons. And it clearly holds the government structure. And that is really what the throat chakra is all about. So it just perfectly mirrors that as well. And then we move up to the third eye chakra island, which is the next one in the chain, which is Kauai. Now Kauai it's known to have been the place where the kahunas would come from, where the trained kahunas, the elders, the ones who were deeply knowledgeable, and that's really what the third eye is all about. And it's a very peaceful, when I talk to people who've gone to Kauai or love Kauai or want to go there, it's always for that same highest feminine energy that the third eye is about. It's for that meditative, beautiful, peaceful, blissful upper chakra energy. That's really the energy that people say that Kauai has. And I just think it's super cool that this is the area where they say the most kahunas came from. So I hope I'm pronouncing all these, the Hawaiian names correctly and everything. I'm not always the best with pronunciation, so please forgive me if I get any of that wrong. And then finally, we have the 7th and the last and final island for the crown. And the crown is way up here, and the crown is a place that not too many of us get to. It's like the place that we understand that we are one, we understand that God is spirit, and more of us are moving into crown energy and opening our crown more now. But it's still, the way you look at it on a map of probability is that most of us are born into root, or, and most of the population lives from root and then makes its way up the chakras. And so it's a much more rarefied field up in the crown. So this is interesting because the island here is Niihau. And Niihau is a private island. You can't even go there. It's very small and very private. And I think that's so interesting. And it's being very small is exactly how the chakras are. See, our chakras are in our body. So we start with like this whole, we have got the coccyx, the whole tailbone area, and the thicker parts of our spine, and then it moves up and it gets more and more delicate, and then it moves all the way up past the very, very, very tip, and then up into our brain area where just a few glands are representing the chakras, right? Once we get out of the throat chakra, we get out of the physical realm and into the spiritual. Well, if you look at the islands, they represent sort of the same thing. It starts with the big island, and then it gets smaller, and you have all these other coincidences that I talked about. So I just wanted to share that with you. Thought maybe you would get some joy out of seeing how the Hawaiian Islands, which are so beautiful, are actually a sort of depiction of our human chakras, and they're a good way to be reminded of, and a good way to celebrate our chakras and the different meanings and colors and qualities of each chakra. So that's it for this week, beloved one, and I can't wait to see you on the next video. Blessings.